It is now time to introduce our main speaker tonight. Let's welcome Danny from Sherman Oaks.
Hi, I'm Danny. I'm an alcoholic. That was a great share, Tiffany. Thank you so much. Thank you for what a great room. I love structure. I'm also anal retentive and OCD. I like things lined up. I like it. Thank you for having me, and Jackie. Thank you for seeing to my hospitality, Ronnie and Laura. John greeting me at the door, and I like talking to Eric and Casey outside just before the meeting. Where are you at? Where are you guys at? Where are you two? I just want. There you go. Yeah, I always like those guys, man. I love new people. All you new people, man. It's really true. The two words above my head. It's really true. There are all the people that I know, and myself, and that I collectively, all I know about AA is that all that we want from you is to get this thing and go give it to people and have a beautiful life. That's it. That's it. And it's amazing. I remember I used to look at those words, man, and think, no, you don't. No, you don't. You don't know me. If you knew me, you wouldn't. But they do, and so do I. And so will you. Um, anyway, put this away. Not much room for. I'll put it back up. Not much room for shenanigans back here. I mean, they really keep you in order at this meeting. They go, look, if we put a table right behind the speaker, they won't be able to move around very much. We'll keep them in order too, you know. So, okay. Didn't start drinking until I was about like 9. All right. I had held out for as long as I could. It was Boone's Farm strawberry wine. As my sponsor would say, no grapes involved wine. Fortified stuff. I remember it was strawberry because I remember what it tasted like coming back up. But that thing happened, man. That magical thing. That group of people over there that I was so afraid of that I knew would dislike me if they talked to me after I drank that Boone's Farm strawberry wine couldn't wait to meet me. They couldn't wait. And I was taller, better looking. I love the lighting here, by the way. The darker it is, oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we could dim it a little more if you ask me, you know. All I ever wanted to be was taller and better looking. Didn't get any of those. I got a lot more, man. Um, so anyway, small beginnings for me. You know, my father was a bird colonel in the Air Force, which doesn't make me an alcoholic. What makes me an alcoholic is that alcohol changes my perception of reality. That's what makes me an alcoholic. All right. And my brothers, they grew up. I'm a middle. I'm a middle. Anybody else a middle? Middle? Yeah, sucks, right? Hand me downs, hand me ups. He got special privileges because he was older. He got special privileges because he was the baby. And I was scapegoat target boy. You know, it was my fault. Everything was my fault. And I was told that. I was told you're nothing. You're never going to be nothing. How about the kids? Where's all the kids from your neighborhood that other kids were not allowed to play with in your neighborhood? Come on. Yeah, what? And the rest of you too, you know. Right. Don't go, you know. Don't you bring that Danny boy into this house. Right? I was that guy, man. Boy, my first drug of choice was, let's see, run, and then violence, and then attention. Right before the Boone's Farm wine, and in my house, my father used to do. I'm a survivor of child abuse, you know, and extension cords, belt buckles, and fists, and just lots of emotional um, abuse. You know, being told that you're a loser and you're nothing, you're never going to be nothing, and I remember as an adult just checking into hotels, man, and just getting a big bottle of gin and just saying all those same things to me in the mirror. You deserve this. This is what you are. This is what you were always told you were going to be, and this is what you are. It's not true. Not true. Child of God. Child of God. When I first time, I jump around a little bit. I don't have a can to pitch, but I'm thinking about bottling it. Good night. The first time when I read in the book or I heard it in a room where it said we cut ourselves off from the sunlight of the Spirit, I imagined in my head like something being over me, and that the sunlight of the Spirit only could come from above, that I kept it from coming in. And what I've come to learn and believe now is that the sunlight of the Spirit is all around me and definitely mostly within me. And where I cut it off from was coming out of me and coming to you. Because Alcoholics Anonymous doesn't teach me how to be spiritual. I was born that way. And anybody that's held a child in their hands, or a mom or dad, knows that a baby comes into this world perfect. And we all came in that way, right? Alcoholics Anonymous gives me these steps, which helps me break down self, which tears away the ego and the fear so that I can be that person who I was always meant to be, just to love you and let you love me. That's it. Good night. That's it. That's it. What is AA? AA, a guy asked me the other day, who runs AA? Nobody. No, really, who runs AA? Everybody. Dude, they're both true. No one and everyone runs AA. You do. You run AA. That's the obligation. My sponsor, his name's Earl H. I'm actively sponsored. I'm a human link in the chain of recovery. I'm sponsored in one hand and I sponsor in the other. That's what I used to be when I was new. When they said, get in the middle of AA. What it meant for me then was get in the middle and get around people and have a commitment. Like the Penguins. You guys ever see the March of the Penguins? You ever seen that? AA and Penguins, we have so much in common. We do, because the first side of the triangle is unity. I can't, but we seem to be able to. Unity. I bring the body to the meeting, right? There you go, body. The circle and the triangle, is there one on the front? It's an ancient symbol, right? Mind, body, and spirit. Therein lies a whole human being. In 1955, we stole it. Didn't think of copywriting it. Freemasons have it now, but we still use it, right? And the first side of the triangle is unity. Unity is the body. It's the first thing, right? You got to get physically sober. Right? And you come to a meeting and you don't know what they're talking about, and rarely seen something and 12 things in AA and something or other, and I didn't catch all of that, but this is better than what I was doing, and okay, right? All right. Anything's better than what I had going. I liked what you said. I didn't know if, how'd you say it? I didn't know if I wanted what you had, but I knew I didn't want what I had, boy. And all I had was a crappy attitude, an attitude of belligerent denial. Belligerent. Warlike. You ever look these words up as you're floating through the big book? Belligerent. What a great word. Belligerent. Should have my picture next to it. Not anymore. Where was I? Do you remember? Thank you. Unity is the body. Bring it to a meeting. So, Penguins. Thank you. I'm going to go to you from time to time. Penguins, you guys ever see that March of the Penguins? It's amazing. These penguins can survive in Arctic weather. I mean, how cold it is, I don't know, but it's cold. It's cold, and alone, just like us, they would die. And the only way they come in, they all huddle together in a group. Like we do at the end. I guarantee you at the end, one of you, when we hook up, is going to think you're a penguin, right? And it's good. And they hook up, and the only way they can survive is their body heat together, right? And as they get too hot, and on the outside, there's a newcomer. A newcomer comes in, they go, come on, get a commitment, you're the new literature guy, get in the middle. And they come in, and that's the only way they survive, and that's how we survive. And when I was new, getting in the middle of AA, that's the only way. The contrary action, right, was doing things that I didn't want to do and not doing things that I would like to do. And the counteraction for me usually is a non-action. Just shut up, Danny. Just shut up. Some of the greatest words my sponsor's ever given me. Just shut up. We don't get into it anymore. Not my job. Just blink and breathe. Just, right? A lot of ways to say it. You can have 400 books on it. Be the water, not the rock. I was the rock all my life, fighting everything. Page 84, right? We quit fighting everyone and everything. I sent her the thing. Would you be the 10-minute speaker? My friend Tiffany. She said, can I get away with a pantsuit? I texted her the letter they sent me. I said, absolutely not. Right? We quit fighting. And people will say when you ask them, hey, when you get up in front of a room, a lot of meetings say you should dress accordingly, not use profanity. Where does it say that in the book? All over the place. Especially, we quit fighting everyone and everything. That's where it's at. If I'm not willing to put on a suit, am I willing to change my entire life? Oh, right? Just a thought of mine. So anyway, so what it means to be in the middle of AA for me now. Obviously, when you're new, get in the middle means get here, get a commitment, man. Just get a commitment. Get a commitment. I made up a good commitment for myself when I was kept coming in and out. I had 8 years sober. On my 8th birthday, I went and took a medallion and spewed venom on AA. Said you didn't work. That you guys were all phony and it didn't work. And I went out and I stayed out for 15 years of trying to stop drinking. And my sponsor never gave up on me. That's the important thing, and a commitment that I got that really saved me was I made this commitment up. It's called Last Man to Leave. And I would go to this meeting on a Sunday night, and boy, I do not know how to chit-chat, newly sober. Chit-chat? How do you pretend to be interested in your day when you're new? You know what I mean? And you gotta, the hardest thing, I have been in fist fights with half of a sheriff's department, whole bars, groups of people. And one of the hardest things that I've ever done is walk into a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous with greeters on either side. Oh my God, is there another way in the room? Look at them. They're smiling, like that Extends commercial. They're like, they're saying hello to you 10 feet before you get there. And then they're asking you these complicated calculus questions like, how are you? How do I know? I'm miserable. I'm dying of a hopeless state of mind and body. How are you? And it's like, just leave me alone. Oh my God. And then I have driven up to an AA meeting before and seen that was the only way in, and I have driven right away because I could not do it. How do you chit-chat without a margarita in your hand? How do you do that? I don't know how to do that. I spent the last 10 years of my life looking at my feet so I didn't have to look you in the eye. The only time I would look you in the eye is if I was trying to manipulate you, because if you don't look somebody in the eye, they'll think you're trying to manipulate them. So you got to make sure you look them in the eye, And then finally, you have to look people in the eye here, and that's where we see the window to the soul. That's where we say, if you want what we have. What does that mean, if you want what we have? I used to think it meant like, you see a speaker and his watch flying around and his trophy chick next to me. Yeah. I would definitely like what that guy's got, And I did. And I didn't know they were talking about these promises, the feeling of usefulness and peace. Like my sponsor says, comfortable standing where I'm standing, doing what I'm doing with the people I'm doing it with. Oh, my God. Right? Serenity? Any golfers here? Any golfers in the room? I'm not a great golfer, but every 60 shots I'll hit one that makes me keep doing it. And it's like serenity. I don't feel it all the time. But every once in a while, I'll catch myself and I'll go, hey, everything's okay. And then, right, back to normal, right? But the longer I stay sober, the more I do this thing of giving of myself and putting self aside and giving to others, right? The more I feel that, because that's the object, right? The object is all we want to do is feel good, right? Those two great words in the big book, and oblivion. Oh my God, it's all I ever wanted. And oblivion for me now is carrying the message, right? Where was I? No, he's going to keep saying that. Penguins. I'm off the Penguins. Yeah, commitment. Yeah, so get it. You got to get a commitment, right? So my first commitment, man. My sponsor is not a dictator. If you guys know Earl H, he's not a dictator, right? But he's the man that never gave up on me. But he didn't tell me about Alcoholics Anonymous. He wouldn't say, go thank the speaker. He'd say, come on, let's go thank the speaker. He showed me Alcoholics Anonymous, right? And that greeting thing, oh, it was so hard. Like that chit chatting. Yeah, I did the last man to leave. Yeah, I did that. I did that at this meeting, right? Where I would make sure that I was the last guy. You know, after this meeting's over, this meeting's going to go into some new people might call it clicks. Clicks. You know, you have a participation meeting in your area where you don't raise your hand, but you have to get called on. Do you have a meeting like that? We have meetings like that in LA. It's a great place to get a resentment. Oh, special alcoholics. I see. I have to get called on, right? You know, and I would go around to these people because I didn't know how to talk to them, and I would just make sure that I would get in their circle and act as if. And when they laughed, I'd and when that little group of people left, then I don't mean the last man to leave like they're all over there and I stand here and when they leave. I mean like I had to actively go pretend as if I was being a part of. I made myself be a part of. And I did that for 6 months. And now it's very easy for me to do that, right? So I'm at my home group, right? A home group. What is a home group? A home group means that it doesn't mean you live there and shower there. That's what this guy asked me the other night. A home group is a meeting that you go to so much, a regular thing, and maybe you have a commitment there, but you go there so often that if you don't go, people notice that you're not there. You're a part of that meeting. You're a part of, right? And I was going to my Monday night meeting in Sherman Oaks, you know, Luther was there and Earl and Steve A. and all these people that, you know, meant so much to me, man. And I would sit there with my sponsor and for 15 years, in and out, in and out, in and out. And one day I'm sitting there and Earl goes, that greeting commitment looks like a good commitment. Now, see, I have a sponsor translator. And what my sponsor says, Danny, get that commitment or you will die. So I went every day, every Monday. I would do that commitment and I'd stand up there. Now, I would talk about acting better than you feel. I mean, you would come in my mind, right? I would go, hi, how are you? And I'd think, I hope you die. You know what I mean? I was like, I just, you know, hey, how's it going? Welcome. I hope you don't share tonight. You know, I'm just like this. But you couldn't tell. But I used to be years ago that guy. Like if somebody got called on and I didn't approve, I'd have to let the room know that I disapprove. I do not get to do that anymore. I respect this room, right? So anyway, I did that commitment, man, and I'll get back to that. So I'll get back to that. It's so important, you know. About being able to come back in here after you've gone back out. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of people in here that you don't have your original sobriety date. And if you're coming in and out, let me tell you, you are so welcome here and you can do this. You can do it. You can do it. And there's a couple things I'd like to talk about as far as unity is concerned. Maybe you're new and maybe you don't. Maybe you can't. This is our book right here, right? So this is the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. You're sitting in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous, which is named after this book, right? And this book came out. By the way, a lot of meetings, you know, you have to have like a 10-year, 20-year requirement to speak. Just think when this book came out, Bill would have not been able to speak at one of those meetings. That was a joke, and it was a good time to laugh. It's okay. That's okay. Hey. Okay. All right. So this book was going to be called, a little history for it, was going to be called A Way Out. And Bill was superstitious, and he went down to copyright it, and there was 12 copyrights of this book already, and he didn't want to be 13. So then he was going to call it 100 Men. And just then the first woman showed up, and it ruined that. So he's sitting in a meeting, and Wet Drunk was sitting there babbling, saying, Anonymous Alcoholics. He said, bam, I like the sound of that. Alcoholics Anonymous. That's how we got our name. From some babbling person in a meeting. Isn't it great? But my point is, though, let's say, you know, I went to meetings for a long time, and I was only going to meetings, and I was never doing these steps. I was untreated alcoholism. 8 years of untreated alcoholism, not working a step, didn't have a sponsor, crazier than any new person in the room. I was not in AA. If I'm not working the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous, if I'm not doing this book, the first 164 pages. I like to go a little further to alcoholic number 3, the man in the bed, right? Then I wasn't in AA. I mean, I can have a membership to 24-hour fitness, but if I don't go in there and pick up heavy things and put them down, I'm really not a member of the gym. You know what I mean? So to be a member here, there's some work that I needed to do to recover, because the second side of the triangle is the mind. Recovery is of the mind. I have to work the 12 steps, right? So I have work to do. Does somebody to sponsor have to have worked the 12 steps? I hear a lot of debate about that. I'm not here to start controversy, of course, what the book says, but in working with others, it does say in our book that when we go to see our man for the second time and he's read the entire volume, it's amazing, isn't it, when you work with people just to try to get them to read one chapter? This book says back then that the second time we go see a guy, he already read the whole book. And it says he's ready to go on with the 12 steps. And right after that, it says, having had the experience yourself. So for me, it tells me that, well, maybe if I want somebody to help me take the transmission out of my car, I better have asked somebody who's done it before to help me, right? So it's probably a good idea to have a sponsor who's worked the 12 steps, okay? Just saying. Are you with me? Yeah! All right, remember, here another page, 132. We absolutely insist on enjoying life, right? We are not a glum lot. But I've been to a few meetings where they are. It's, I was talking to Ronnie right before we started about, can you just imagine in a square mile in any direction from us right now, the people that need to be sober, the lives that could be changed, that will never, ever see the inside of a room, and here we are. How is that possible? How is that possible? I'm not sure how it worked out that I made it here, but I know why. Chapter 7, working with others. That's why I'm sober, right? To carry this message. So, anyway, where was I? Penguins. It was a lot. Let me tell you, I'm still recovering. We had a convention in San Fernando Valley. We just had a big convention, and I was the Friday night entertainment chair and the Saturday night entertainment chair, and it was quite the to-do. I am so thrilled that it's past us right now. I'm still kind of coming down, Okay. How did I keep from going in and out, in and out, in and out? On page 24 of our book, it says, we are unable at times to bring forth with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and the humiliation of not a week or day ago. I'm paraphrasing. We are without defense against our first drink. The greater aspect of my disease, the obsession of the mind. My lineage, we call it the beast. The beast. Some people in treatment centers, where you at? The treatment centers? Any people in there? Yeah. Isn't it fun? Sleeping with other people, smelling their feet and farts. That's great, isn't it? Isn't it great? How about how many guys do you sleep with in your room? 2. Oh, 2 other guys? One other guy. Don't you love when you get an empty bed and you're like, oh no, what's going to fill that? And then a new guy comes in, you go, hey, do you snore? Do you snore? You snore? Yeah. Right? Some of us who don't have to share our bedrooms, we don't have to think about that, right? How beautiful it is, right? To not have to deal with that. But let me tell you, when you get this thing, you get to have your own place one day. You won't have to get up when somebody tells you to, except your boss, right? If you're lucky, if you make it. I hope you make it, man. You can do it. I hope you make it. It says, we read it tonight, rarely have we seen people fail who have thoroughly, isn't it amazing how thoroughly we would drink and use? But then, you know what I mean? I have seen people like vacuum the ceiling to try to get something that looked like a rock. And then when you go, dude, did you get to the meeting tonight? Oh, no, man, it's like 7 blocks away. It's like, are you kidding me? Dude, I saw you roller skate in the rain to get to the bar. And now the meeting's 6 blocks away and you can't make it? Thorough, man. Thorough, right? Yeah, it brings up something. Oh, yeah, I remember where I was. Maybe you can't identify. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're back there and you can't identify as an alcoholic. I like how that light went off just. That was good. I like that. What'd I tell you about abusing those powers, Jackie? Stop that. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're somebody that liked snortable alcohol. Or maybe you liked smokable 420 alcohol. Or maybe you liked pill form alcohol. Some people don't like to hear about it, even though Dr. Bob and Bill said they drank and took heavy sedatives in the big book. All I know is my job is unity, not division. So maybe you can't relate to a stockbroker from the 30s who only drank, but he took sedatives. Because the beast is looking for the differences. That's why they say look for the similarities. Alcoholism looks for the differences. Looks for the reason that you don't have to be in this room so you can go out and do the only thing that's brought you relief to be able to fit into your earth suit. Right? I have a gift. I can walk into any room, look at the speaker's chair when I was new, and not have heard the speaker before, and know that they were terrible and didn't know how I felt. Just from the way they were dressed. Are you kidding me? Right? If you weren't me, I couldn't identify with you before. Now, if you're a 400-pound lesbian sumo wrestler, I can relate to you. Because it doesn't matter where you've been or what you've done. You know what I mean? I remember when I was on a 12-step call one time, right? I went up to see this guy, right? And this was when I used to, I would compare my insides to your outsides. And I go up to see this guy who lives in this really nice house. And where was it, that place? Mount Olympus, that's right, Mount Olympus. Go up to Mount Olympus, one of those, very nice gated communities, and I'm new, not feeling the gift, but I go on this 12-step call, and I'm living in this tiny little crappy little apartment, with a hot plate or whatever, and I go up there, and this guy's got a problem, and the more I get into his zip code, the more I'm hating this guy's guts. You know what I mean? Really? Really, dude? Because in my brain, you should be happy. You have all this stuff. Stuff don't mean nothing. Stuff don't mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I like stuff. But you take it all away from me right now, man. I'm good. I am good. And I'm driving up there, right? And I go up and I press the button. He goes, who is it? Little tiny little voice. And I said, it's AA. I am contrary action man. Like I have a cape. Circle and a triangle on my chest, like Batman or something. And this guy, me in my crappy apartment to answer the door, I have to open the door. He has some kind of button that goes, and the door opens a little bit. That lets me into the foyer. That's bigger than my whole apartment. And I'm thinking, this things I can't say at this podium. Are you kidding? And as I walk in, I'm walking on beautiful inlaid mahogany. Just mahogany this and Persian that, and like, oh my goodness. This guy's got a lot of nerve calling AA with all this stuff. And then you know what I saw? I saw this puddle of stuff that could only be dry heave vomit. Yeah, ooh, right? We try to sugarcoat things around here, but really, really. All the times where's all the people that wet their bed or wet themselves? You know what I mean? Come on, right? It's pretty, isn't it? It's funny, people snorting crap on the back of a public toilet and then they get sober. They're like, excuse me, is that filtered water? Is that gluten free? Whatever. Right. Don't get too complacent. Remember where you came from, because you could go right back. And as I saw this puddle of dry heave. And I knew that dry heave looked exactly on his $10,000 rug as it looked on my crappy flea-bitten floor. And I knew pain right then and there. Pain was pain. And it was the same. He needed my help. He needed my help. And we're the same in here. It doesn't matter. It's whatever you're doing. Please find your way into this book. When you hear people sharing and you go, I never did that. No. Try to say me too as much as you can. Me, I did that. Oh yeah, I felt like that. Oh, I felt like that. Find your way in, man. That's because you got to find your way into this thing, man, because this is probably my best thinking didn't get me here. My best thinking got me strapped down into Thalian's Mental Center with 9 people holding me down, giving me a shot. Where's the 5150s here? Come on. Oh, yeah. That's my best thing. The last 5150 I had was Christmas Day 2007. The cops were bouncing me off the pavement outside, and woke up in Glendale at Venice with a catheter in me again. And true story, while the woman, now Earl had been sponsoring me since 1994 and never would give up on me. Never, ever did that man give up on me, man. That guy would drive to institutions and wait in line for 7 hours to see me for 6 minutes. And he believed in me. He believed in me until I believed in myself. See? That's what you got to find here. You got to find somebody. Chances are, if you're here, you've probably run out. I hope you've run out of ideas. If you're new and you have an idea, tell us about the idea. We want to hear your idea. Be a great bestseller at the literature rack. Ideas of the newcomer. Very entertaining. So while this woman, she had me, captive, getting ready to take my catheter out. And she said, Danny, have you ever thought of going to AA? And I said, yeah, here I am, right? Sense of entitlement, right? Low self-esteem was a goal for me. You know what I mean? I said, I go to AA. I have the best sponsor in the world. His name's Earl. And at that exact moment, he walked in and said, and aren't I doing a great job? Swear to God, true story. Find your way in. Find your way in, right? Find somebody, man. Look around you. There are people in this room who have been through it all, who have been through terminal illness, who have buried people, who have lost their children, got their children, done it all without taking a drink. I drink and use no matter what. I can't not drink and use no matter what. If I could drink and use no matter what, I wouldn't have had to drive to Laguna Beach. They'd go, where's your speaker? He'd go, oh, he's at home, not drinking and using no matter what. I drink and use no matter what. So therefore, I have to do these things, constantly be doing these things. An obligation that I made with my sponsor. He said, when you get this thing, peace, serenity, you feel like you're no longer the second step, where I came to believe that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity, soundness of mind, relieve me of the obsession to drink, where I can walk the earth free, like kung fu. I like that. Walk the earth. Walk in the earth. No longer is my day dictated by, you will be drinking today. Wrap it up any way you want. That's a lovely idea. But you will be drinking today. You will be destroying relationships. Let's go to page 82, shall we? Shall we go to page 82 of our hymn book? And we always reminded, underlying, we think for that cheerfulness and laughter make for usefulness around here, because it's so nice to not have to be doing what we're doing, but we're constantly reminded of just what it is we're doing here. When they say that we think that sobriety should be enough, no, it's not. We have a long, long way to go. This is Alcoholics Anonymous goes way, way beyond not drinking and using. It's about getting your integrity. If you were to take the principles of Alcoholics Anonymous to me and mash them into a snowball, they make humility. They make being humble. That's what they make to me, And on page 82, if I may, it says, the alcoholic is like a tornado roaring his way through the lives of others. Hearts are broken. Sweet relationships are dead. Affections have been uprooted. Selfish and inconsiderate habits have kept the home in turmoil. We feel a man is unthinking when he says that sobriety is enough. That's what's waiting for me. That's the life that I had. My life isn't like that anymore from working the steps, right? Step one, what's the problem? Got to know what the problem is, fix the problem. Take your car to the mechanic, the first thing he's going to do is, what's wrong with it? Well, lack of power seems to be my problem. I may be good at a bunch of other things, but when it comes to drinking and using, I am absolutely powerless. Step two, what's the answer? What's the solution? That a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity. So step three, Jackie, stop it. Jesus. Step three, that I make a decision to turn my will and my life, my thoughts and my actions, right? Over to a God that I may or may not understand. Understand God? I remember when they had VCRs? I couldn't even program a VCR, let alone, are you kidding? understand God. What is God? What is God? God is love. God, in the morning when I get up, I do this 11th step, right? Where all morning before, when you wake up, your head likes, I don't know about you, but my head, before I even get up, my head's like, no sense getting up. You're in debt. You hate you. Everybody's probably going to get mad at you. You're probably going to screw this all up. So it might as well just stay in bed. My sponsor taught me this great prayer. Put my little hands up in the air before I get out of bed and say, whatever. Whatever. That's my version of thy will be done. Whatever you want me to do, I'll do. Whoever you want me to help, I'll help. If I haven't helped somebody today, every day, today, this day has been a waste of time. My sponsor taught me, if I have not been working with somebody and giving this thing, that I have been a waste of time. That's my job. Then I turn on, the head, before the head can keep chewing on me, I start this, I like this stuff it's called Forest Rain. I go back and forth from Forest Rain and this dolphin thing. It's music that doesn't have any words in it. So that when my head starts going, okay, got to do this, got to do that. No. Forest Rain. Forest Rain. Go make my coffee, get the coffee going. Forest Rain stays with, I usually wear a sweatshirt and my jammies, right? My little jammies, and I keep my phone with me, Forest Rain, right? And I go make my bed. It says, got to get my house in order. Trust God, clean house, help others. First thing I do, okay, God, you got it. And I literally keep my house clean. I got to. I have to do, that's what I have to do. I know some people I work with go, why should I make my bed? I'm getting back into it tonight. Really? And that's what I do. And then I go, and then I light a candle. I light a candle because it shows me the evidence of God. I can't see God, but I can see the evidence of God because something put the air here. Something greater than me. And a flame needs air to burn. And therefore, I am able to see God. I see God because I want to see God. I see God when I see someone helping another person. When I see someone extend their hand or smile or be joyful, or when I see a leaf or the sun shining through a certain way, or I feel it. I feel it. It's like it's hard to describe. It's like trying to tell somebody what chocolate tastes like that's never tasted it. It's just this wonderful, beautiful feeling where I feel okay, And move on to step 4. And my first power, greater than myself, by the way, if you're new, I believe that my sponsor believed. I believe that he believed. That's it. I believed he believed. That was enough for me. I didn't believe none of you all. None of you. You're all liars. 33 years sober? Really? Really? Still going to that A&A, huh? Poor guy. That's what I used to think when I was new. He hasn't gotten it yet. 33 years, he's still going. God bless the long timers. I don't want to call them old timers that keep coming here and show us the way. My respect to them. And it's our responsibility that we, in its purest form, to me, keep giving this thing like it's supposed to be given, right? So I believe that Earl believed, and then one day I just started believing. And step 4, what's step 4? Step 4, not hard. A lot of people say, ooh, hard. No. It's the first step that asks you to write. So a lot of people don't like it. But why should I do an inventory? Why should I do step 4? Step's on this side, right? I don't want to point to the wrong side. Really screw with the newcomer's head. So the steps anyway. And the traditions are. Why should I do an inventory? Why do I need to know? Why do I need to know that? Because my job is to be in the game. How can I help Ronnie if I'm sitting over here thinking about myself? If I'm just thinking, oh my God, my life sucks. She's going to leave me. My job, I'm not getting enough money and you hate me and I'm not in the game. And when Ronnie walks in and he's in a lot of fear and I'm unable to see that because I'm stuck like the Clydesdale horses, those Budweiser horses with the things, That's me. Self. Me. I, me, mine. Me. Right? So page 62 says selfish self-centeredness. That's the root. Remember, you guys know who, God help me out. Jim Hurley's old sponsor. You guys know Jim Hurley, right? Clint Hodges used to say, thank you. I'm self-centered. I need a new center. I'm self-centered. I need a new center. Right? And I need to be in the universe because all I ever wanted was out. All I ever wanted was out of my room, out of my family, out of my car, away from me, leave me alone. And now all I want is in. And the only way that I can get in, the only way that I can close the distance between you and I is remove the fear. How do I remove the fear? With an inventory, right? And the biggest one on there for me was my father, right? Obviously, justifiably, right? Did a bunch of things that I wasn't a part of. But I'm not trying to absolve him of anything. I'm trying to get free. How can I live a life of being loving and caring and being of service if I'm stuck with anger? This was me all my life. How can I hug you with a fist? I can't receive love from you or give you love. Here, would you like some love? Here. Oh, don't mind the fist. It's in there. That was me. Oh, where are you? And and let go of that anger, man. It's not in there anymore with me. It's just not. And so we do an inventory, man. We write it down and we write down all the stuff. And when we get through this inventory and you work it with a sponsor, that's somebody that knows you, because by the time you get to that inventory, you'll have done these other steps and they'll know what you need and they'll take you through it lovingly. And the unity will happen during that fifth step. You'll really close that first side of that triangle up with the unity, and you'll feel like you're part of something. I promise you will. I promise. If you do it just half, you'll be okay. So that fourth column, right, says there's my list of character defects. These are the things that get in the way of between you and me. These are the things that I need to remove. And that's 6 and 7. We take that and we go, here, I don't want it. I don't need this anymore. This is keeping me from being the guy that I need to be. A loving, gentle, sweet man. Always in conflict with that. As a man, I came from a home of big boys don't cry. Take it like a man. Quit crying or I'll give you something to cry about. Right? I didn't know how to have communication. I have had emotional sobriety now. I am a catch as far as for a relationship. I know how to do one of those. I do. I know how to communicate. I know my boundaries because I have gone into the big book where after I've done my inventory, where it teaches me to shape a sane ideal about who it is I want, not just as a girlfriend, but as friends and people, right? Because everything I put into my life, it's like a pond. My life is a pond, right? When I got here, my pond was just like, have you ever been to somebody's house that like didn't clean their fish tank? And it was like months old, you couldn't even see through it. That was my pond when I got here, right? Do you want what I have? Right. And I learned I had to clean that pond, but I can't clean the wreckage of my past and create new wreckage. So all the water and that I put into my pond has to be nice, clean water. Everything in my life is a pond, and everything that I put into my life is a pebble, and it all has a ripple effect, a good one or a bad one. Sometimes I suffer the consequences of my behavior. Most of the time, these days, I'm not willing to, right? Good stuff only. And I think when people are around me, is this person going to be good for me or bad for me? Because I don't want chaos in my life. I want peace. I am more helpful and am more of service to my fellow man if I am peaceful. And you can't buy peace I don't care, at Nordstrom. You can buy a Jimmy Choo bag. You can't find peace anywhere in there. And I did all that. I shopped till I dropped. I like stuff. Okay. I just let it flow, man. Just whatever God wants me to say. Hey, there's a circle in the triangle back there on the wall. Nice. There it is. Woohoo. So for the new people that keep going in and out, and you're sitting in treatment and you're thinking, man, how am I going to do this? How you're new and you're coming back again and you're in your first 30 days, or you got 6 months again, you got 9 months, and you're not feeling the gift. This gift. And I was sitting there one time at a meeting. It was one of those meetings where they had to call on you. Hated them all. And I'm sitting there. You know how I really joined AA? This is how I really joined AA. I had been coming to AA meetings since 1982. I'd been coming to AA meetings. I'm 53 years old. I'd been coming to AA meetings, and this was in 2008. And this is when I really joined AA. When I was able to laugh at myself, right? There was this meeting, and the leader made the mistake of calling on me. She didn't know any better. She didn't know me, that I was this exposed raw nerve. And she said, Danny, would you like to share? And I turned to Earl, who was sitting next to me. I said, may I say whatever I want? And he said, go ahead. And I said, I think you're all full of crap. You're all a bunch of liars. And if I was on fire, not one of you would pee on me. I said that. And no one laughed. They were, because I said it with some verve. And this woman behind me, about 2 rows, she said, I'd pee on you, Danny. And that's what happened. The room broke up, and you know who else laughed? I laughed. For the first time in my life, man, my fist came apart, my shoulders dropped, and that moment I became a part of AA, man. I was in all the way. I was in, and I made a decision right there. I want in this thing. Lord knows when we were at the bar, and the bar was full, and you know, we were the ones that went, you know where the gold railings are, where the waitress would come up to do her service, that we knew. Alcoholics know that you can go over there and get service. You push people away. You hold your money up. You do whatever it takes. And I did the same thing that I did in a bar, pushing through to make sure I'd get mine. And I came in and I started going, you know what? I'm doing this. I am doing this. And the beast was working on me. The beast was like, hey, Danny, this is a terrible meeting, man. Why don't we just go to the liquor store? We're going to get 10 king-size Coronas. We'll just start with 10. And that's what we're going to do, and we're not going to tell your sponsor about it. There he is. Look at it. Smile and wave. Smile and wave. That's right. That was good. That was good. And that's what we're going to do. We're just going to go home, get 10 Coronas. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. And you know what? I told the beast, nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. I remembered I did something that I hadn't done in a long, ever with Earl. I stood up in the meeting, walked up to Earl and go, dude, help me. I'll do anything you want me to do. What do you want me to do? I finally was to the point where I was beaten into a state of reasonableness. And a lot of stuff had happened to me, man, but I was finally ready. And you know what he told me to do? You know those guys, like Dustin, I sponsor Dustin. You know these guys that they have this look about them that makes you want to stay away from them because they have these tattoos crawling at their neck. But when they're new too, they also look like this. The guys that show you their neck. I used to be one of those dudes, you know what I mean? Yeah. Everything about them just says stay away, you know? And my sponsor goes, I'll do whatever you want. He goes, go say hi to that guy. I go, dude, look at him. He does not want me to do that. He goes, go say hi to that guy. All right. And it was just like, remember like in 7th grade when I used to go to the gymnasium for dances, they would line up all the dudes on one side and all the girls on the other, and you'd have to do that long walk. For men, for me, this was a hard thing. You had to walk all the way across and go ask a girl to dance. And in my head, she's going to say no. She's going to say no. Hi, would you like to dance? I don't like this song. I knew she would say no. And then she gets out dancing to the same song with a guy this tall, perfect teeth, Letterman jacket, right? And being the pathetic moron that I am, I had to go out into the dance floor and say to her, I thought you said you didn't like this song. Same thing. I felt exactly the same thing. Grown man, almost 50 years old, walking across this room to another man going, hi, how are you? I'm all right. Enjoy the meeting. Go back. Did you see that? Did you see that? My sponsor goes, yeah, now after the meeting, ask him how the meeting was. What? And while you guys got to have a nice meeting, the whole time I was just sitting there in my head going, oh my God, what am I going to say to this dude? Just, oh my God. What's that saying about fear? I've been through some terrible things in my life, some that have actually happened to me, you know? And since then, I have always done everything without question. If he called me right now and said, I want you to paint the rafters at the Canyon Club green, I would say, where do I get green paint? I would do it. I mean, with the committee's approval, of course. My sponsor, man, I love my sponsor so much, and I want you if you're new and you don't have a sponsor, don't leave the room without a sponsor. You cannot sponsor yourself. Every bad idea that's ever happened, everything that's ever happened to you came from your head. Came from your idea. No one told you to do that. You did it. So you need somebody else. Earl, I'm thinking about getting back together with Debbie. Oh, Debbie? Oh, you mean the girl that when you broke up with her, she broke the window of your truck and put the hose in there and turned the water on for 8 hours? Oh, you think that'd be a bad idea? Yes, Danny. Get a sponsor. A sponsor that believes in you, man. My sponsor has done so many things, and I'm going to end. What, I got like 3 minutes, right? 3 minutes? I got 3 minutes? 2 minutes. I'm going to end with one of my favorite sponsor stories. Earl, man, who just, I love my sponsor so much. So he goes, that greeting commitment, that I took, and those people, right? I had like 7 months sober. I'll be 6 in a couple weeks, right? Finally, after struggling for 15 years, I'll be 6. And in this sobriety, when I was about 7, 8 months sober, I swiped my card at an ATM and it said, "Please contact Financial Center." That's not good. And I never paid my taxes. I want to tell you, I've paid 40,000 of them back. I only have 20,000 left, and I paid a lot of other debt, right? So I freaked out. And Earl, I called my sponsor screaming and yelling. It was the worst problem in the world because it was my problem. And he said, "Go to the meeting and greet." And I did anyway. A couple weeks later, I'm sitting in my apartment, no air conditioning. We had 17 days in a row of triple digit heat. I'm sitting there not feeling the gift, going to those darn meetings with those darn people. And my sponsor calls me. And he says, "Meet me at the corner of Ventura and Reseda." Now, when your sponsor calls you, even if you're doing brain surgery, you put a towel on the head and you go see your sponsor who helped you and listened to your insanity and helped you get to where you are from nothing. You go see your sponsor. And I go get in my car and go see Earl. And he's standing in the middle of a parking lot and he's holding this white envelope. And I go, "What's going on, man?" And he said, "Here." I said, "What is that?" He said, "Open it and find." If you know Earl, open it and find out. And I open it up. It's a stack of money. And it's wrapped in this piece of paper. And it says, "This is an anonymous gift. Keep it or pass it on." And I'm like, he said, "All those people that you stood in line with, that you greeted at your home group, they found out about you, Danny. And they don't want you to leave because they care about you and they love you. And some of them couldn't even afford it. But they want you to stay." And I started getting emotional in that parking lot with that man, and I started to run away. And he said, "The most important thing that anyone ever said to me, and I want to say it to you if you're new." He said, "You're part of something now. Thank you for having me at your meeting."